I'm just saying. Just saying. I think we need a new intro for this show. Cosmic Channels. Well,
where the something is something and the something is something.
Is something.
Work in progress. Yeah. I like it. The phone lines are now open. You can call in the show, ask us your questions, put in your 2 cents.
Or 4 cents.
Or 4 cents. What's the phone number again, Ryan?
Oh, god damn it. You can find it in the YouTube description if you're watching live. I'll say it for you right now real quick.
Someone let us know what it is.
Yeah, if you know what our phone number is, just let us know. Let us know. I put it in everything except on my desktop screen. What's our phone number?
Oh, I got it. It is
We're recording
the
a call-in
phone
show. We can't remember our number.
We're doing a hard reset right now. Welcome to Cosmic Channels, where the something is something and other than something. And the phone lines are now open at 1-888-738-3236. That's 1-888-738-3236.
That's
you
it.
Call in and
talking about some modern
Talk to
UFOs. Modern UFOs and those 3 finally declassified and public domain videos from 2004 till 17. The 3 videos.
Mm-hmm.
yes, the Go Fast video, the gimbal video, and
Tic Tac.
Tic
Or is
Tac.
it the same one?
No,
The Fleur. They call it the Fleur or something.
the Fleur.
The
Yeah.
last one.
There is, you know what? That's we took a little bit of flack because we kind of breezed over the like the same day everything was declassified. We were like, yeah, big news on the space news. This was declassified. Anyways,
That's old news.
to the next. And people were like, some people were upset. And then it was like, you know, you had Papa Giorgio Tsoukalos talking about this is the greatest day in history, basically. The problem for me is, before we get into the videos and stuff, I think why it wasn't that big of a deal for me when I heard that news is because when did those come out? Was it 2007, the first one?
Well,
2015?
They were made popular by that New York Times article in 2017, and then To the Stars Academy presented them as their evidence, right?
Yes.
So it was like 2.5 years ago almost that we watched all those. So when they find out, they're like, UFO videos announced. We're like, we've seen those years ago, but they just announced. They just released it. Like, it's declassified, meaning it's no threat to national security. Therefore, they can be got through the Freedom of Information Act, blah blah blah, and now the public knows.
And basically it was like they're saying like these are unknown crafts and they're still unknown. We don't know what they are.
The first thing was like when the U.S. Navy last year, they acknowledged that they are real. Like they said, these are real videos from our fleets. And that was the big one. That was the big thing. Like, these are real. Yeah. To the Stars Academy, they're not bullshitting you. These are real videos.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, and then, you know, a couple days ago, they're just like, they're declassified now. They pose no threat to us. They don't show any type of technology that is proprietary to us or our allies. We still don't really know what they are, but yeah, here you go. You can look at them.
Now, see,
Aliens.
for me, when those first came out and I watched those videos, I was like, oh, not a doubt in my mind, those are UFOs. Those are UFOs. Just by hearing the people in the talk, especially in the Go Fast video where he's like, got it! Whoa! Look at that thing move! Like, he's all excited. I was like, those are UFOs, 100%. Like, there wasn't a doubt in my mind. Those are UFOs. Then when, you know, Commander David Fravor, the Fravor Saver, I think his nickname is, comes out and he says, you know, like, yeah, this was weird. You know, we were seeing these all the time. We could go out. We were trying to track them. And I was like, yeah, this just already confirms what I already believe, that these are UFOs. We don't know what they are.
Yeah.
So then, like, you know, fast forward to whatever, last week or 2 weeks ago, and they're like, the government declassified says these are UFOs. I'm like, yeah, I already believe. You had me already. I already believed it. It's like, I can't believe it anymore. I already believe it. I can't believe it any further.
I can't reignite that passion when they first came out. I was like, oh shit, UFOs, modern UFO videos, actually recognized videos. This is so dope. And then they just put them out again. And at the same time, a lot of those memes are going around like, oh, it's COVID-19 time, the world shut down, and by the way, there's aliens and no one gives a fuck.
Yeah, basically. It is pretty monumental, though, if you think about it, that basically they're saying, like, for the government to say, like, we don't know what these are. This is what it does to me. I'm like, other videos where the government stayed hush-hush, are they hush-hush because they're like, that's nothing, right? We don't like, or they knew what it is, and that's why they're hush-hush? Because I'm like, to come out and say that these videos are like, yeah, like, here they are. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know either. Your guess is as good as ours. We have no idea. That, to me, is a little monumental, I think, that they're basically saying, like, yeah, there's whatever these things are, they outperform us, and we don't know what they are.
It's listening to Fravor talk about him. I mean, he knows his stuff. And when he talks about it, he was talking about other occurrences, like not just the videos where he's like, yeah, this one right here. He's like, this is a video of just the one that they got. And he's like, but there are other ones like within the, they were contacting other ones on radar. Like they had other contacts on radar. That was just the one that they caught. They said they had something like 10 or a dozen or something that were all flying around at some point. And they had no idea what they were. So they had radar contacts, plus they had the one that they had on the film. That was not the only one that's the only one that they got on the infrared.
Right.
So I thought that, for me, I was like, oh, okay. It's not just, where some people are saying it's kind of like an IR relic or something like that, or a reflection where it's, it's not just it could be a malfunction of the aircraft's, infrared, but that would be the most, plausible explanation. But then when you're saying that, no, the ship's radar was also picking up contacts, well, then what were those?
Yeah.
So that's the probability of having both a malfunctioning radar, like radar detection system, plus a malfunctioning, a malfunctioning infrared camera on the aircraft is pretty low. So I would think that's what kind of sold me on the whole thing. That it's like, okay, maybe they really did get something.
Yeah, just how he explains it, man. He's like seems like a no bullshit kind of guy, Fravor, and he just tells it how it is. He's like, it went from like 50,000 feet down there and over here. Like it's unbelievable what this thing was doing. And you're like, whew, well, I'm sold. It's something.
Yeah, then you're trying to wondering why they were there. Why do you have so many UFOs just right there off the coast of California? Apparently, that's where they like to hang out. He also, Fravor mentioned something about other ships, or he was saying that he had conversations with other buds of his in the military that were saying that they had also seen either crafts like these ones or these ones specifically, and it's like they were able to actually travel underwater as well. So,
well, it makes sense if you had a space like a ship that could go through the vacuum of space. It could also it would be watertight. So,
yeah, if it was basically defying how we see aerodynamics or flight physics, where it's just traveling at any speed in any direction it wants, negating air friction or anything like that. The effects of gravity, then yeah, traveling underwater would be just the same as moving through space or moving through the air.
All right, we got our first caller. Hello, welcome to Cosmic Channels. You're on the air.
Oh, nice. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, man. What's your name? Where are you from?
So my name is Donnie. I'm from Texas.
Right on, Donnie. How's things down there right now?
Well, we got the virus roaming the foothills. So.
Same, but different.
Yeah, pretty much. Hey, I got some good. Well, I have a good recommendation anyway. In regards to modern UFOs.
Let's hear it.
All right, so have you guys ever seen so there's a free, at least for now, free with ads, documentary on YouTube. It's called Mirage Men.
I have not. Dan?
Oh, dude, it's killer. Oh,
cool.
Well, I can't hear Dan because
he's just not
Dan?
talking. He's just.
Oh, I'm shaking my head. I haven't seen it yet. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you guys got like the audio stuff figured out. All right. So it's really cool. So there's a guy named Richard Doty, right? Mm-hmm. And he claims, anyways, that he's like.
Oh, Richard Doty. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Like, oh, so you already know. So he's like a counter.
I know of
guy,
Richard
right?
Doty, like the guy who they said that they tried to play. Well, not play a trick, but they were trying to give him false information, disinformation. It's that guy, right?
Yeah. Well, he was trying to give other people basically, like false information and trying to, it was like a whole thing, but it was kind of cool because it was weird actually, because at first he was like, oh, I did counter intel, yada yada, and then like towards the end they kind of like, well, anyway, look, I don't want to spoiler alert, spoiler alert you guys or whatever, but it's actually pretty cool. Like, I don't know, you guys might like it, I think.
I'm gonna put it on the list. What does it make you like further your belief in like the ET phenomenon, or what's your thoughts on that?
See, that's the crazy thing. It spins you into 180, all right? Because you're going towards UFOs, right? It spins you the other way, right? But then towards the end, it spins you back. So So by the end of it, you don't even know anymore. You're like Mulder. You're like, I want to believe. It's a slippery slope, man.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna put that on my list. I got a lot of free time this week, so.
So how do you feel about the government releasing declassifying these UFO videos? What's your take on that? Timing wise?
Hey man.
What do you think, something bigger is coming down the pipe?
Hey man, look, can I, if I can just, Braden, if I can just say, actually two things. The first thing is, earlier I actually watched a rerun where for some reason you just had a still picture of you making a ridiculous face. It was pretty hilarious. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. And but in regards to the UFO stuff, I don't know, man, because they already did it. It was already out by Tom DeLonge for some reason.
Yeah.
He leaked them, I guess, like a year, 2 years, something like that ago, and then now they're out again. I think that they're trying to punctuate the message, maybe. Maybe they're like, hey. Because, I feel like, we kind of glossed over it the first time, A
little bit, yeah.
Nobody really, people saw it and they were like, oh, okay, cool. And then everybody, nobody made a big, I thought, if the government released footage of UFOs from their from their ships, people would be, flipping balls, But nobody seemed to care. So it was kind of weird, actually. It was the opposite of what I would have thought.
Yeah, it was like a little blip in the news. It was there's a New York Times article. It was circulated for a bit on social media, and then it was gone, and no one was really talking about it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, if it was me, I would have brought it up again too. I'd have been like, "Hey, by the way, remember this UFOs?" It's kind of weird.
If I was declassifying documents, I'd be offended. I'd be like, "Well, you're not happy with that? Well, how about this one?" And I'd send out some more. That's kind of what I was hoping.
Just release Bigfoot.
Yeah, they're like 3. They're like, those 3. Yeah, sure, we'll declassify those. But have you seen this one? They
one up.
Release the third one. Yeah, one up everyone. But
exactly.
It does give gives credibility to Tom DeLonge and to the Stars Academy. So now when we go back and I think about him talking about all the rare metals and stuff like that they're testing. I'm like, all right, well, how Before I was like, I believe the videos, but I think this guy's a fucking quack. But now I'm like, well, I got to give him some credibility now because the government's backing up his claims now of declassifying that these are legit videos that they took.
Well, it's him, and he's got that team behind him with some of them, the credentials look impressive. So you're like, But because didn't the DOD?
Exactly. No, it's true.
Didn't the DOD? Wasn't there that story 6 months ago about the DOD testing the said metals, the meta metals or whatever they're called them, for for defense or something. Didn't they say something about that like 6 months ago?
Are you talking about when they were going to send? I think they were going to send either to go do investigators or something. I think I know what you're talking about.
They briefly mentioned it, that they were interested in what they were saying, so they're going to look into it further, and then the story ended, and you're like, well, what happened with that?
I think they didn't find anything.
Well, there was never like a public like conclusion either way, I don't think, that I heard.
So absence of evidence is evidence of absence?
Well, we'll have to wait and see, Dan. Wait and see.
Do you think that the release is lined up with all this COVID stuff, maybe so there isn't, it gets glazed over by bigger things happening right now? Do you think that was part of their strategy, releasing it now?
That's actually a good question. It's hard to tell. I mean, it's one of those weird things where it's kind of like, I don't know, man. It's like with the COVID thing, it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't, like on a lot of levels. So it's definitely dominating my news feed. I'll tell you that. I mean, like there's stuff I try to find. I mean, I'm over here trying to watch ATT, and I keep seeing freaking videos about people hijacking masks, or I don't know what's going on out there anymore. but it's crazy, And so but it does though. It really does dominate a lot of the social. They like oversaturate the news feed, and what's actually interesting, and I'm really glad you brought that up, Braden, because a lot of people. So whenever they show, whenever they do their White House press, I'm in Texas, right? So the States. So when they do the White House press briefings, and then whenever they did the what was it, the Event 201, I'm sure you guys have heard of that, where they kind of did the what's it called? Kind of like they kind of war gamed, right? Like a virus pandemic kind of situation.
Yeah, back last October.
One of the major yes, sir. So one of their major points was kind of like, hey, we got to make sure we have the narrative straight. And that was like a major point of like all of these like kind of leaders of industry. So it's possible that they're just trying to control the narrative. And maybe there are people trying to disclose other things, but they don't want, who knows, man? It's kind of hard to say. I mean,
yeah, maybe this was step two.
When you hey, you know what, man? Maybe it is. I mean, and when you see freaking dudes like Doty, I mean, Doty was throwing balls out of left field, right field, center field, like all at the same time, and you're like, I don't know what the hell to believe anymore. It really throws you for a loop, and so it's hard to know what the truth is, because they'll throw two. It's like that game, two truths and a lie. It's like that game.
Yeah, it's like.
And so you don't know what the hell.
Yeah, it's like the more you think you know, the more you realize you don't know shit.
Yeah, kind of
much.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's basically like dating, boys. It's pretty much like you go out there, you meet a nice chick, think you know her, but you don't know shit.
She's an alien. Yeah,
everyone's been there.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Of course.
Explains the gray skin tone.
Or the reverse: you get a date, pick up someone, turns out to be a vampire.
That's also bad.
Yep, also happens.
Also bad.
Yeah.
That should happen.
Or
that's not,
third scenario: you pick up someone, they turn out to their lower half is a goat body.
Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah, goat legs.
A goat body.
So, anyways, thanks, Holler. We're gonna move on. Open the lines again for other people. Thanks for calling in.
Sweet, thanks, boys. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, brother, appreciate it. Have a good one. Bye.
Let's throw up the first video. Lines are now open again. Let's throw up the first video. Which one? Let's take a peek at them. And Zell, I think you gotta open our. For some reason, I can't see you on our chat here.
Oh, you can't see the feed.
Oh, there we go.
All right. For some reason, I can't actually find. No, I have the video, but
they've been reclassified.
Reclassified. No, I'm just saying. This one, I'm gonna give a shout. This is the Washington Examiner. Is where we're getting the videos from, so we're claiming this as fair use, so don't you dare give us a strike. So this one's the gimbal. Here we go, if you're watching the live stream.
Dude, this is a fucking drone, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is LNS, dude. Well, if there's like... Look at that thing! It's rotating.
That's the gimbal. It's cool.
It's weird. I've read it. I've seen a couple articles now, written since the declassification, being like, government releases UFO videos. Not really, and then it like goes to discredit this video. And one of the people who was writing it discredited. I was like, I don't know where they're getting their information, but they were like, oh, it rotates. That's the camera rotating. I'm like, yeah, but the background does, like the other stuff doesn't rotate with the picture. So how the fuck is it just the camera shot? Like that, whatever they have on camera is rotating. To me, that's clear as day. It's like, it's not the camera rotating because nothing else rotates. Just that little, whatever that little speck is.
The gimbal.
Yeah, and you hear him in the beginning when he says, "There's a bunch of them, dude." He's like, "There's a bunch of them, dude. Check out the ASA," because the ASA is their, it's like aerial situational awareness or something, but it's basically their Fravor referred to it as the God's eye view of the area from their plane, and there were multiple contacts on there. That was just the one that they happened to see, the catch on the camera.
Oh, so that's the one they locked onto, but there was multiple.
There was other
around.
ones.
Yeah, that one's cool. Like if you're not watching the video and you haven't seen the gimbal, it's just like it's something that looks like a craft shape. It's going, and then it kind of like stops mid-flight and rotates back the other way, and that's where you hear them like, "Oh shit, it's rotating, dude."
But it's not that it doesn't stop mid-flight, does it? It rotates while in flight.
Well, it's kind of let's see here, because the camera. Let's go back to it, because the camera goes, they're flying, and it rotates. It looks like it's well, that on that video, it's not the full video, so it looks like it's stopping, but either way, it's rotating mid-flight, and it shouldn't be possible for a craft.
Yeah, like and like from, it looks like a bank, right? Like they're on a bank turn, and it's rotating. Like our planes would just be torn apart.
The pilot would be torn apart if that thing was going really fast, and all of a sudden you just flipped it on end. The G-force.
Yeah, they said they were going against the wind at 120 miles per hour or something. Like,
yeah, the wind was 120 knots. Wind's 120 knots, and they're going against the wind, and they're cooking, and then it just rotates.
How fast is 120 knots though? Like it sounds fast, but I don't know what knots is comparative to.
I don't know what the
kilometers or
conversion
miles
is, but I think 120 nautical miles is faster. Like it's not 120 like ground miles.
It's 222 kilometers per hour.
That's some fast wind.
Cooking.
That's windy.
Upper atmosphere wind. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. That's windy. But yeah, that's I look at that video and I'm, without a doubt, to me, I'm like, hey, like you hear the reactions and everything. I'm like, it's so organic.
Yeah, man. Hey, I was calling.
Oh, we got a message.
I didn't get the live air on show, but I just wanted to say that
hey man, if you're listening live, call back. We'll finish that.
Was that
message.
just now? Did they call just now?
Yeah, well, I turned off my ringer because it was so annoying, and now I missed it because we're watching the video.
Zell, let's have a call-in show, but I'm gonna turn it off.
Yeah, well, it's so loud. It's so loud.
Everyone.
Here we go. Someone's calling back.
Just kidding, guys.
Hello, it's Cosmic Channels. You're on the air. Who are we speaking with?
Oh, hey, this is Gracie from Michigan City, Indiana.
Hey, Gracie, how's it
going?
going?
How are you guys?
Doing
But
well.
You live in Michigan
We're
City,
good.
Indiana.
How does that make sense?
Yeah, dude. What?
You live in Indiana in a city named after another state.
Interesting.
It's named after the Lake Dan, not the
that's
state.
right. It is.
Oh,
Okay.
Dan didn't know. Dan didn't know. Dan didn't know.
Dan did not know.
Wait, so is the state named after the lake, or is the lake named after the state?
So it's named after Lake Michigan.
Okay.
All right. Got that cleared
Does
up.
that make sense? We're like right on Lake Michigan. Anyways, I'm calling in because my boyfriend has a really good UFO story that goes with the video you just showed.
Are you going to tell it for him, or he's going to come on and tell it?
No, he's gonna tell it.
All right, let's hear
yeah.
it. Let's hear it.
Here he is.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hey, man, how's it going?
How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Pretty good. Me and my girlfriend Grace, we've been a long time watchers of you guys' podcasts, and we listen to them a lot. And I just thought it'd be cool to call in and kind of tell a UFO story that I have. I've actually had like 2 occurrences in my life where I've seen a UFO, but probably the most breathtaking one for me was I was outside my house. It was like it's in the same area. It's probably like 10 miles, 15 miles where we live now, and it's in the country. And me and my buddy were outside. We're just kind of hanging out. We're drinking and we're smoking some cigarettes and stuff. And we're hanging out, and it's in the country, so it's pretty remote. There's not a lot of aerial activity and stuff like that. And we're just hanging out, and it's pretty dark, so you can see, like cars coming down, like ways down the road and stuff. Well, across the street from us, there's like a woods, and we're just kind of hanging out and looking. And all of a sudden, I look across the street, and I see this like light coming over the trees, and I think it's a helicopter at first. But there's no noise from the rotors and stuff. There's like no noise. It's like dead quiet. Like it's literally silent, and the light just keeps on like coming like right towards us. And I'm thinking, I'm like, yo, this can't be like a UFO. And like it was just kind of hovering, moving really slow, maybe like 10 miles an hour. I would judge, but it was probably like 50 feet off the ground, and it literally came from the woods across the street and floated literally right over me. And like, I honestly couldn't believe it. And every time I tell it, I don't know, I mean, my heart's kind of racing. It gives me anxiety because it's like so cool. But like me and my buddy Jake were freaking out, we're like, holy crap, like this is 120% like a UFO. Like there's no explanation. Like right as we start freaking out, like from the outside of the rim, like it looked exactly like the one in that video. It was, I would say it was probably 25, 30 feet in diameter. And it was probably 50 feet off the ground. It like just floated over the power lines, and it was floating over the yard and over my house. And like right as it like passed us from the outside of the rim to the middle, like it was like a bright blue light, and it just like, I don't know, when you have really good LED lights, you can see each one of them. Well, it just like from the outside in, it was just like ring by ring by ring, it like shut off. And then as it went to the center, it was like a pink light in the middle, and I could just see it floating away, but like the light pad on the bottom like turned off and like moved to the center.
Man,
and then I could see it for probably another 100 feet, and then it just like disappeared, and it didn't make a single noise. Like there was no, like we don't live by any like major highways or interstates, and it was definitely like the most craziest thing I've ever seen or experienced in my life. And I try to tell people about it when I can, because it's really cool, and they're definitely out there. And thankfully I wasn't abducted or anything, like some of the stories that you guys talk about, Skinwalker Ranch and just random places, like people waking up, like thank God like they didn't decide to do that to me and my buddy, because it was really cool. And I think we were fortunate enough to see it, because I think it was like 2:30 in the morning when we saw that. So it was really late at night.
How many years ago? How many years ago was this now?
I would say it was 3 years ago from like this June that we saw the UFO.
That's cool. How do you know? Did you recognize like what was it, a shape? So you're saying it's like the gimbal UFO, so like a saucer shape, but like more like a bell shape kind of, because that's what that one looks like.
Yeah, it had like the bell bottom thing, it was the gimbal shape, and I could definitely tell that it was like after like the blue light, like on the like from the outside in, after they went off, it was like pink. It was like a pink light in the center, and it was really cool. But it looked exactly like that gimbal one that they just those videos they just declassified. So I thought that was really cool.
That is super cool. I'm jealous. I've never had any experience like that, and I always want one.
So, and
I don't know how.
When I think about it in my head, I'm like, I can't think of what you've just explained to me, anything that I've seen that I could logically be like, well, it sounds to me like it could have been this. Like from my experience with, a bell-shaped blimp or something like that. Like nothing I've ever seen in my life matches a description that you're giving to me. So absolutely devoid of sound, no sound, just drifting in the wind.
Dude, it was like you could, if I dropped a needle on my driveway, you could hear it. It was like
weird,
dead quiet, no wind. It was like literally a perfect summer night, and we're just kind of hanging out, looking at stars. Honestly, is what we're doing, and we happened to get lucky enough, and definitely flew over my yard, and I still can't believe it. Like to this day, it's definitely something that kind of makes you humble when you see something like that, because you hear all the stories and. It could be this, it could be that, but I know this, like 100 and like 200% chance was definitely a UFO, and it was really cool. I have another story if you want to hear that too.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Let's hear it, sure.
We'll be willing to listen. When I was like 16, I think, and I lived around the same area. It's called the Port, Indiana. It's like, like an hour from Chicago, like an hour southeast of Chicago. We're the same thing. We're just kind of chilling outside. It was probably like 11 o'clock. My buddy Jeremy, he had a trampoline in his backyard, and we would, when we were 16, we would go, get some cigarettes or like some little stogies from the gas station. We would go sneak out there after his parents went to bed, and we would smoke. And, we were just kind of chilling out there listening to music, and we're looking up in the sky, and we both noticed like this kind of brightish light that was up there. And it, neither of us said anything, but probably 10 minutes went by, and we're just sitting there, and I'm looking at it and he's looking at it, but we didn't really say anything to each other. Like neither of us said anything. And all of a sudden, like the light just starts flashing, and I'm kind of like, okay, well, like within 5 seconds of it flashing, it started moving, and then it literally just was gone, like warp speed. So it went from like, because you can sometimes tell like the difference between like, distant stars and like closer things that are like refracting light, like you can see how the light kind of shimmers, and that's what caught our eye. And I was looking at it, and again, it started flashing. And it was just, it wasn't like on and off flashing. It was like pulsing. Like, you could see like the light that it was giving off was like dimming and then getting brighter and dimming and getting brighter. And then it wasn't moving fast. I'd say, it was probably, I couldn't tell you how far it was up there. It was pretty high, but from where I was, within like 1,000 feet, it like just poofed into nothing, like, warped or, did whatever. It was definitely wild. Not as wild as the first story, but that was like my first UFO experience that I was like, okay.
So were you still skeptical after the first one? After seeing the first one at 16, were you still skeptical, maybe not sure what you had seen, and then just kind of reassured, like you're like, oh, without a doubt, after the second one, they're out there?
Yeah, it was a possibility. We're kind of like, we weren't both like off the rip, like UFO, but we're like, what the hell was that? Because would have been, because we can, from where we live, we can see like planes flying into O'Hare and stuff. You can see like the lines of them. Like I'm like a star watcher from time to time, so I know kind of the difference. But this one, it was so, I don't know, the light stood out, and then it just went like it streaked, and then it was just gone. It went from not moving to like barely moving, and then it was like a streak, and then just poof, gone. So like, when you see a meteor shower, they kind of streak across, touching the atmosphere. Well, that's how fast it like was streaking, and then just snap of the fingers, it was just gone.
That's cool.
It was,
so it
was pretty.
No like loss of time or anything else like other close encounters. Some people, even if they don't think they got abducted, they still think they might have like lost like a few minutes when the craft approached or anything like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have any loss of time. We were just kind of like sitting out there for an hour or two, astonished, and then
that's probably a good.
We went in.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because as interesting as that would be, it would definitely be terrifying, and kind of I don't know, kind of violating, you know. You feel violated, I guess.
All right. Hey, man, thank you very much for sharing those two stories. We're going to move on to the next caller, but we appreciate you calling in. And if you have any other experiences, make sure to let us know.
Awesome. Hey, you guys have a good one, and take it easy.
You too, man. Bye.
Awesome. Definitely.
That it always, like, when people, I've heard a couple people like tell me their accounts of seeing stuff hover above, and this is the one thing everyone always says is like, when they start talking about it, it gives them anxiety. Like just, it's a weird thing that everyone who always has like this experience retelling it, they get this, like they get the emotion back. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, I got one more caller that hit. See if we can get him in. Oh, did we get him? Hello, this is Cosmic Channels. Who are we talking to?
Yo, this is Cosmic Channels.
Oh, make sure you turn off your live stream audio, or we'll hear it echo through.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, make sure you turn off.
There we go.
There we go.
All right.
What's your name and where are you from?
George Garcia. I'm from Miami, Florida.
Hey, George, thanks for calling.
Pretty cool. What I was going to say is that I kind of had a similar experience from, at least somewhat similar to one of the UFOs shown in the video. It's kind of my first experience. But before that, I was, still a UFO nut as a kid. But in 2015, me and my family were coming back from Cancun, and it was probably the second time I've ever been in an airplane. And I had window seats, luckily enough. On our way back, I was just, entertaining with the idea of there being like, oh, let me have my phone ready. It might be a UFO. And, I was sticking my damn face out the window the entire time. Once we started heading back to Florida, where you can, see Florida, we were kind of towards our descent, and I was just looking out the window, and there was a sphere, like a literal circle. And there was literally nothing special about it whatsoever. No light, no distortion around it, just a kind of metallic-y circle. I wouldn't be able to tell you how far away it was from the airplane or how far away it was from the ground. All I know that it was like more close to the airplane than it was the ground, because it's hard to tell dimensions when you're in an airplane going 300 miles an hour. But what I could tell is that it was moving in the exact same direction as the airplane, but just a tiny bit slower, so it was slowly moving out of sight. And I tried to basically ingrain it into my memory, because for whatever reason, I was too afraid to record it or something, because I was freaking the fuck out. I tried to wake up my sister for her to look out the window too, but she was like, shut the fuck up. And it literally just drifted out of sight, but it was so steady. It almost, like, it didn't wobble or anything whatsoever. It was like unbelievably stable. It looked really strange. But other than that, there was no light, no,
so
anything other than there was a sphere that wasn't supposed to be there.
So it wasn't glowing?
So this was daytime? Sorry?
Yeah, it was midday. Well, not midday. It was towards the afternoon.
So when you say it's like a sphere,
on our way back,
could you like see through it? Was it like translucent? You could see through it, but you could just see the shape?
Yeah, it was just it wasn't translucent. It was like full on like metal.
Oh, okay.
As far as I can tell.
But it was a perfect sphere. It wasn't a saucer or like a bell shape.
See, if it was more down, like I had to like lean a little bit for me to see it.
Right.
So I don't know if it was a bell, like if I was like looking at it from the top part, but from what I could tell, it did seem like
Right. So from your point of view, it looked like a sphere, but it could have very well had like an elongated bottom. You just couldn't really tell.
Yeah, as far as I could tell.
And it didn't make any like sudden moves. It seemed to be more or less floating with or flying with the aircraft, but a little bit slower. Didn't like do any like stop and turns or anything that looked like
nothing at all.
Huh? It's crazy. What's your thoughts on it?
It was very mundane.
Think that was an alien, like an ET craft, or?
There would be no way for me to be sure. In all honesty, it could very well be, some weird occurrence that happens when, I don't know, the moon gets too close, like some stupid thing like that we don't understand yet. But it could very well be an alien, the point is, so
yeah, that's
no idea.
Cool story.
And it was definitely an unidentified flying object.
How old were you at the time?
I'm 21 now, so it's probably like 16, 15. And,
okay.
I did see like 2 or 3 after. Now, this is the interesting part. I think I saw it again, maybe like 2 years afterwards. This is like all the ones that I've seen. The whole experience hasn't been longer than like a minute.
Right.
I was taking my sister up from her basketball practice. It was at night, and I was just like looking up at the sky because you got to keep your eyes on there. And over in Miami, there's a bunch of light. So a lot of the time, clouds, they tend to glow a little bit because they're reflecting the light back. I just see a black sphere just entering and leaving the clouds at a really steady pace. And I just saw it for like a minute, and then it was just flew out of sight.
Huh.
And I think to myself, oh, maybe it was a balloon, maybe it was something else, but it was just straight black sphere punching through clouds.
Hey man, those are both great accounts of UFOs. Obviously unidentified, can't really tell either way, but that's super cool.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to move on to the next caller, so we appreciate you taking the time to call in.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
I asked a clarifying question there about, because he said he was a kid. I don't know why I'm prejudiced against kids. So if he would have been like, I was like 5 or 6, I'd be like, I don't buy it. I was like, your brain tricked you, right? Like you saw something that you didn't recognize.
Well, and then memory.
You had no life experience, but he's 16, 17. So I'm like, that's.
Wow. I always, anytime someone tells me a story and they're like, yeah, it happened 15 years ago. And then you hear all these all these really smart people talking about memory and how like pathetically bad it is, and you're always piecing stuff together.
It's imperfect, is putting it mildly.
Yeah, like you have a really strong memory, like in the short term, you can really remember details, but after like you start going to long-term memory, your brain starts like putting those details together for you, and you're like, did I really remember it? Like, was it blue or was it green, or was it the second or was it the fourth?
It's even worse than that. You'll be like, it was blue, because your brain will tell you that, and it could not be. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Your brain's the best liar, because you believe it 100%.
So anytime I hear a story that's like, if someone tells me a story and it's like, this happened like last week or last month or something, I'm more inclined to be like, oh yeah, you remember exactly. But if someone says, oh, it happened to me 20 years ago, I'm not saying they don't remember the story. Yeah. I was thinking like they don't probably remember exactly how it happened.
Why? Especially if you're like, I was 20 years ago when I was 6 years old. Yeah. I'd be like, buddy, chances are your 6-year-old self saw something that you didn't understand that may have had a logical conclusion. That's what I would like. That's what my brain goes to right away. But no, 15, 16, that's some weird tailing planes.
All right, we got
your stuff.
Let's take one more caller, and then we'll maybe watch those last 2 videos, and then we will wrap this Cosmic Channels up.
Yeah, a lot of callers tonight.
It's good.
Woo! Love it.
All right, welcome to Cosmic Channels.
Hi, my name is Mark. I'm from London, Ontario.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Not too bad. I just wanted to tell you guys a story that happened to me earlier in my youth. So I was at my friend's house, and before you guys kind of asked me what we were doing, we were getting high.
Damn right you were.
This was before marijuana was legal, so it was kind of cool to do. But there I was, I had just smoked. I was tripping balls, and I saw, how do I explain this? It was a large ball of blue, and it floated, let's say, about a foot above the ground, and it must have been about 1.5 meters in diameter, and it just kind of floated by me. And a couple hours after this, I was with my friend, and he was there when this happened. But I didn't tell anybody, like, what I had saw, because, like, I just thought I was tripping balls. And obviously, a couple hours after we sobered up, and my friend tells me, he's like, hey, I was so high, you won't believe what I saw. I saw this huge kind of ball, and it just moved right past you. And, I thought I was, like, crazy. Even now, when I think about it, I'm like, did I see what I saw? But it was just crazy that, like, hours after, it was confirmed by someone else. So, I don't know. I just want to kind of put my story out there. And
that's a cool story. Did like the glowing orb or like the ball, the sphere, did you feel anything like a static or any like physical feeling, or was it just, you just seen it?
Well, like the feeling that I was feeling at that moment, like I was tripping balls and sitting down in a chair. We were behind my friend's house on his patio. And this ball, like, it moved just out of my reach. I mean, at the time, I was gone. I couldn't even, like, move out of the chair. But I watched this ball kind of just move past me, maybe like 20 kilometers an hour. Like, we didn't know where this thing came from, and it just, like, as soon as it came, like, it was gone, like, out of sight. That's pretty much all I have for the story, but
hey man, it's a cool story. It's more than I've
weird.
had.
Some sort of like maybe like some UFO probe or something, like coming in for a closer look.
Maybe like for a couple years, like I thought it was like this phenomenon called ball lightning.
Yep.
But like there's no videos of it. And to this day, I'm like 30 now. This happened when I was 15. I know you were talking just a bit earlier about like stuff that people see like 20 years ago, but
no, you remember the memory. You just might not remember the colors exactly, but you know that it happened. We don't doubt that.
It was a blue color. The time of day was like a summer day, and like there was nothing out of the ordinary about this day. Like it was just go to your friend's house, get baked, and see some weird shit.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's a that's a weird one. I've seen a couple of those, and people I know people always take pictures and catch the spirit orbs and stuff like that, and we've heard talks of that before. That's real interesting. I wonder what they could be. Right? Because it's got to be some like Plantier, like fucking seeing eye little thing or something, right?
I've seen those videos of like floating orbs or whatever. Like people say they're ghosts and stuff. Like whatever this was, it was not that. Like this was like a physical sphere, right? About maybe 1.5 meters in diameter. And it was just like a light blue color. Like it wasn't see-through. It wasn't transparent. It was. That's what it was. Like, there was nothing else to it.
Thinking back, was it moving with a purpose or moving just randomly, or was it just in a straight line?
It was moving in a straight line with a purpose, but like where it came out of was like impossible because like. It came from like the house and it went like outside, like past the patio.
That's weird.
Weird for sure. Yeah. I don't know what it could be.
And
besides ball lightning or like an actual craft, yeah.
It was also floating off the ground. Like it wasn't like a big ass ball rolling on the ground. It was like levitating off the ground.
That'd be even crazier if it was a big ass like just ball just rolling around. You're like, what the fuck is this?
Well, like I said, like even to this day, I'm like, did I just see like a big ass yoga ball or something? But like, I don't know. Like the more I think about it, and like when I look back at it and think about what my friend said, and like because he saw the exact same thing I saw, and he described it exactly hours after the fact. He was in the same position. Like when I saw this thing, I was like, I didn't even. I was kind of like, I can't believe this is happening. Like I can't even believe I'm seeing this. And he had the same reaction, and he thought he was tripping out too. That's why he told me about it hours after the fact. So
that's cool, man. Appreciate you calling in.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man,
Thanks for the call, buddy.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Now, here's my question. I'm gonna have to look up ball lightning. Does ball lightning happen? Can it happen with like no clouds or anything? Just happen like in the daytime like that? Like,
I don't
could
think
that happen?
people really know exactly how or when or
it's
why it forms.
It's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
I don't think they quite know. But I wonder if there's accounts of it like in the day with nothing around.
Dan, do you know much about ball lightning?
Not
the
off
resident
the
ball
top
expert.
of my head. I don't know. No, it's mostly like we said. There's not 100% video of ball lightning occurring because it is a rare occurrence. It's something that's extremely rare. It's mostly the things that people see is anecdotal. So you just have stories of people saying, "I saw something that looks like this," and so it sounds similar to kind of an electrical phenomenon of some sort or things like that, but not sure if it usually accompanies storms or if it precedes storms at all. I mean, it's something that could probably be looked into further for like a freaking just case file. It would just be like a whole thing about it.
Well, yeah, if it's such like a crazy phenomenon that people blame like hundreds of UFO sightings on it, but no one really knows much about it, that makes it even crazier. They're like, it must be this, but we don't know what it is.
It's still technically unproven. Like it's still because there's a serious lack of definite evidence that ball lightning exists. Like, it's still technically something that's it's unproven. It might not exist at all. It might be something else.
It's cool.
Let's watch the next. Watch the next video. Let's watch the Go Fast video if you have it.
Go Fast. All right, we'll watch a little Go Fast. This is video number 2 of the 3 that were released.
Recently declassified.
Yeah, okay, declassified. Yes.
Nickel 6-1 Tango Small J over. Roger, there's troubleshooting. Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at that, man. Look at the fly.
Now, see, the only thing with that one, I remember when the first time I saw it, there's the tone of his voice to me has a lot of we're fucking around, like bored, we're fucking around, like yeah, I got it. And it's like rather than like amazement, like the other, like the gimbal video. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you, not saying that he doesn't whatever he. They've now said they don't know what it is, and it's moving. But like, to me, that video when I first saw it, I got that like this air of like someone's fucking around, maybe not doing something he's supposed to.
Well, maybe that's just how those guys act.
That video, context-wise, is the pilot who is getting that video. Like, it's difficult to catch those kinds of things on camera. Not the phenomenon or the UFO, but something that's moving at what the speed that they calculated to be moving, or they were picking it up. Like, they were looking for it, but it's actually pretty difficult to actually catch it on that camera, like doing that. So that's why he got all excited when he sees it. Yeah, when they caught it, when the camera actually picked it up.
It sounds like
you have to do a couple of maneuvers, I think, that were not they don't usually get to do.
Yeah, it sounded like he was like that's probably how we would react, regardless if it was a UFO or not, just because it was a difficult thing. And then once they like filmed it and like analyzed it, like, what the fuck was that? That's probably when like the whole thing came up, because it doesn't really sound like he's like, oh shit, man, it's a UFO. I got the UFO. I locked it. He doesn't say anything crazy like that. He's just pumped that he locked it, and he's just like that he got it.
I mean, you wouldn't hear, 100% or 99.8%. You would never hear like a Navy pilot be like, "That's a fucking UFO." They will be like, because most Navy pilots or military pilots are no nonsense. They'd just be like, "We got something. What is that?" Oh, and then we'll look at it later. Like you're traveling at, Mach 2, Mach, 1.5. Like you're not gonna be like, "It's fucking aliens."
Well, we would be, but
we got them, aliens.
We got them.
We got fucking aliens here.
Are we shutting down the phone lines? We got time for one more than the last video, or?
Sure. Let's do the video's short. We'll watch this video. If someone wants to make one more call, we'll give it a second after the video, and if not, we'll wrap this Cosmic Channels up. So this one is they title this one as, well, they call it also the fleur on this. The fleur. And this one is the worst quality of the three, but we're going to watch it regardless.
Look at that.
That's a fucking riveting blob. Does this have any sound? I don't think so. Nope, just some crackling. Weather balloon.
See, this one to me is the one where you could be like,
anything.
It could be anything. We could be looking at a fucking microscope. I have no idea. No audio with it. I wonder, is the audio still declassified? Like, was there audio? You think there would got to be audio somewhere?
I don't know. That's pretty much that whole video. It kind of moves a little bit at the end, but that one's the worst quality of those three declassified. But I guess they don't know what it is, so it's not a threat, so they declassified it. But out of all the three, that one I'm like, well, yeah, it could be something or it could be nothing. It's not really moving.
You came to the same conclusion as Hynek and Project Blue Book. Like,
could be something, could be nothing.
Nearly a decade of however long Project Blue Book went on for like 30 years, and they're like, could be something, could be nothing, but it's not hurting anybody, so
let's let it go. Yeah. All right, we got time for one more call if you want. I know we missed a couple there, so if you want to call back, we'll take one more for this week.
One more call before we shut down the phone lines.
The phone line, singular.
Phone line, yeah. One line. We had no budget for more than one.
We only got one line. All right, here it go. Last call of the night. Hello, you're on Cosmic Channels. Who are we speaking with?
Cody.
Hey, Cody.
Brandon, I called last week.
Oh, hey, man.
What's
Welcome
up, Cody?
back.
How's it going, guys?
You can't use the line long time listener, second time caller.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to share a couple of my UFO stories.
Okay, we got give us your best one. We got to wrap it up after.
All right, so the best one I guess would be about 15 years ago. I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and we were walking around town, and we stopped, and we were just kind of like laying on the grass and looking at, the stars or whatever. And all of a sudden, she's like, "Hey, what's that?" And I looked up, and I seen these lights. And at first, I thought it was like geese, and then I thought it was like a plane. But I realized it was too slow for a plane, but too like fast for like a flock of geese. And the shape was weird. So it had like 2 sets of 3 lights, so 6 lights all together. And it was, the only way I could describe it was like the Z block in like Tetris.
Yep.
It was like that shape. And it was like floating past, and like I said, it was like too slow for a plane, but too fast for geese. I don't know. It was weird. And I was like, what the hell is that? And I kind of like watched it for a second, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just disappeared, and that was it. It was gone. That was like the weirdest one.
Crazy.
And it had, did you say it had lights?
Yeah, it had like 2 sets of 3 lights. Yeah. So like on one side it had like 3, and then like parallel to it was another 3, but like offset. You know what I mean?
And just white lights and those same time go out, everything gone.
Yeah, it just like completely disappeared all of a sudden. It was weird. Like there was no like streak of lights. It was just like it was there, and all of a sudden it was just gone.
No sound.
Nothing.
No missing time.
Nope.
And where'd you
That's
see
just
this
a
again?
normal
Sorry.
day for me. I saw this one in Portage, the Prairie.
Oh, in the prairies. That's
Yeah, Portage.
Oh, that's a weird one.
It's like an hour and a half away from me.
So the whole thing between when you noticed it and it disappeared, how long? 10 seconds?
I was looking at it probably about 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, you got a really good look at this thing enough to be curious about it. And then it just vanishes.
And like the shape of it, I've told other people about this too. And there was one of my friends, they said that they watched like a UFO show at some point. And there was a few people that had actually said that they saw the same shape of UFO before.
Crazy. Oh, I've definitely heard of the like a Z shape. I've heard one of here in Campbell River, very similar. Right around the time of the Phoenix Lights in Arizona, there was one like off the coast of Vancouver Island that's kind of described very similar. And same thing, they just said it just floated as if it was like sailing in the wind with no sound. So
yeah,
and I mean prairies are nice because you have no obstruction too, right? You got that big sky. You know, you can get a good look at stuff for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I saw one with sound like a few months back, and like it was very strange too. I got off the bus from work coming home, and I was walking up my street, and I heard like this sound. It sounded like an airplane, like a plane jet engine, but it was kind of like it was distorted by like a magnetic field. I don't know. It was really weird. And I looked up, and it looked like the only way I could describe it would be like, you know, like how baby like starts when a baby first starts growing, how like the head like the curly tail. It was like that, but it was like floating through, and then I like watched it for a second for about 10 seconds. I went to grab my phone to see if I could get a video of it. I looked down for a second, I looked back up, and it was gone, but I could still hear the sound. I couldn't see it anymore, but I could still hear the whatever engine it was. It was really
so
weird.
whatever it was traveled so fast, but the sound was still
lagging behind.
Yeah.
Weird. How long could you hear the sound for after you couldn't see it?
Sorry?
Like, could you hear the sound getting fainter? Like, so you knew it was like traveling off.
Yeah,
it was off in the distance now.
Yeah, like when I looked back up, it sounded like it was still there, and then it kind of just started to fade out. But whatever it was gone.
Interesting, man.
The first one tonight with sound.
It was the sound that caught me off guard, really, because it sounded like a jet engine, but it was like distorted by like I'm guessing in a electromagnetic field. It was really strange.
Huh. We'll have to look into for more cases just like that, because you don't hear too many UFOs with actual like a sound like breaking barrier. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for calling again. We got to wrap this episode up, so we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Cody. Bye-bye. All right, that's pretty good. Cosmic Channels. Got some good UFO stories.
Much more successful than the first Cosmic Channels.
Indeed.
Not that the first one didn't go good. This is just better. So, anyways, we're the Alien Theorists Theorizing. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud,
the works.
all of them, all those places.
Not SoundCloud. Don't listen to Braden. You can't find us on SoundCloud, but everywhere else.
Fine. Anyways, that's into Cosmic Channels. And have we come up with a new tagline for this show? Are we just rehashing our old taglines?
The show of I don't know. We don't got nothing.
Keep the lines open. No.
And remember, the lines have now gone dark.
There you go. Gone dark. Good night, everybody.
See you, everyone.
Going dark.